catch me if you can.
What's up guys, it is Mark Yoon and today I'm bringing you another exciting video. So as I promised in my other video, I wanted to get some feedback from you guys from various means, be it Twitter or comment section of the last video, Instagram, any means. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go over some of the feedback that I received from you guys on future possible guest characters either in Soul Calibur 6 or just in the Soul Calibur series in general, be it the next iteration of its game, any portable versions and stuff like that. So let's just get right into it without further ado because it's going to be a lot to cover. So Tommy Four Fingers, thank you for commenting. He actually wanted Night Terror. I actually didn't know who Night Terror was, so I had to look it up. And it turns out he's from Soul Calibur 3, which is weird because that's my favorite Soul Calibur, so I'm guessing that it's like a hidden boss version of Nightmare that you face down some path at some point. I haven't played like the different individual character stories in a while. I usually stick to Chronicles of the Sword, but I mean, he looked really cool from what I saw, and of course I'm going to put like the PNG files or pictures if I can find them on the screen here to just alliterate and show you guys like the characters that people are choosing. So he also commented and followed up with, I know this probably would never happen by any chance, but Ricky Maru or Ayame from the Tenchu series. Really, almost anyone from Tenchu would fit great in Soul Calibur. I'd be inclined to agree. I loved Tenchu and Tenchu 2. I played them when I played Tenchu actually when it came out, just because I'm like a huge fan of like Asian culture and ninja and stuff like that. So I definitely played that on PS1 and I had a blast. It was hard as hell, but it was a really good challenge to overcome once you actually got it. And I like both those characters. I've kind of veered away towards stealth games. I don't really play them as much anymore, but I definitely would go back and give that a play because it's just a great game. So great one for that. And now we have Solar Flare 95 commenting, my top two choices would be Tyrell from the Diablo franchise, specifically from Diablo 3 when he became mortal, or Virgil from Devil May Cry. Of course, Virgil would fit really well into this. The Tyrell, I don't know how to pronounce that name, but from Diablo. I didn't play Diablo, but I looked up his character as well, and he had a really cool design. So both of those I think would fit really nicely into the series as well. So I wouldn't be mad at either of those, to be honest. And then Shovel Fighter, who's a regular here, said 2B from Nier Automata. Well, as you know, 2B was in our guest list for like the characters that I would want it to be as a guest before Geralt of Rivera was actually revealed. So I think she was number literally 2 on my list, so that's a good choice to have because I really wanted her as well. And then we have Robert, who is saying the best possible choices for weapons-based fighters are Lubu, Tadakatsu Honda, and Guan Yu. If you don't know who those are all from the Dynasty Warriors franchise. I've played all Dynasty Warriors franchise. I especially play Empires a lot because I love creating like my whole faction team and like going against like actual real existing characters. I do like Samurai Warriors also, but mainly on that side of things, I'm more into the Warriors Orochi series. But another great one, because of course, yeah, anyone from Dynasty Warriors would fit easily perfectly well in there. And then Rashid says, I agree with Lubu or any character from Koei Tecmo, especially the Warriors Orochi, thank you, because they made Safitia as guest character before. I prefer the cow because she's my favorite, and also the game has a lack of fan users. The last one we saw was maybe Soul Calibur 3, so I think we need more of that, and fans will love it as well. Sorry for the long talk, the video really got me interested. Well, thank you, that's what the video is there for. I'm glad you got interested, thank you for commenting, I love the feedback. And I agree with pretty much anything you said. Lubu would be a boss in this game though, I mean like he could, I don't know if Lubu could be like a regular dude. Anyone who's played like any of the Dynasty Warriors, when Lubu shows up, like stuff gets real. Like you either run away because you're under-leveled, or like you're going after him because you want his stuff. So Lubu would be an awesome choice. And then we have Papadopoulos, who says, I would like to see either Yuna from Final Fantasy, he says 10-2, or Nariko from Heavenly Sword. First of all, Nariko from Heavenly Sword, I don't know why she's not brought up more often. Like, Heavenly Sword was a really good game. It was I think a launch game for the PS3. It had the, it was really like demoed to show off the 6-axis motion controls on the PlayStation DualShock 3. Mainly there was like certain sections of the game where like if you're firing cannonballs, like you can like steer them towards where you wanted to go. Or the arrow girl, I forget her name, the girl shot the arrows, like you can like specifically like veer the arrows. So I had a really fun experience with that game. It was a really good game, and Nariko is an awesome character. She kind of reminds me of Kratos from God of War, actually a lot, but I can still see her as doing her own thing as a guest in this game. And as for Yuna, I actually didn't play Final Fantasy X-2. I think that's the only Final Fantasy game I've ever not played, actually. I've owned it, but I just never got around to actually playing it. I mean, I know she like dual wields guns or like hand cannons in that version, so that's kind of cool. I will check it out because I still own it, so maybe I'll get to play it at some point and throw it up as hype for it, whatever. But another thought for this, like, what if like Yuna from just regular Final Fantasy X was in there, and you have like moves where like she does summons, and the summons actually do the battling for her, kind of like a Persona type deal or JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. That would be kind of cool, in my opinion, of course. And then we have Lewis Erison, who says, for DLC, I would like Raiden from Metal Gear or Squall from Final Fantasy VIII. Dude, Raiden has one of the sickest designs. Like, I mean, that was one of the only like figure arts, like actual one of those like $200 figures that I ever bought. Like, Raiden is insane in that series, and he looks really cool. He would be a bit out of place with the technology aspect, but I mean, I'm sure they can find a way to fit him in there. And if he did, though, he would probably be one of my mains. But as for Squall, like, Final Fantasy VIII is my favorite Final Fantasy game, so of course I'd want Squall in there. Squall Lionheart is literally my favorite Final Fantasy character in all of Final Fantasy, so great choices there. I think you know me well. And then we have Falco Lombardi 19, who gives his piece, and he says, more guests? No, please. We want the real Soul Calibur characters. Now, I included this because, like, yeah, this video is surrounding just guests and hypotheticals and, like, wishful thinkings and stuff like that, but he is right. Like, I do still want Taki and Sung Mina and Cervantes to be announced. I'm not sure about Sung Mina, but Taki and Cervantes stand a pretty good chance of being in. I'm just waiting, biding my time, if you will. So I do agree with that, but this is just a hypothetical video just to have fun with, so be that as it may, let's move on. And then we have Devontae Davis, another regular on the channel, that says, Lightning from Final Fantasy? We didn't get Noctis, but perhaps we can get her. Dude, I would love Lightning. Like, Lightning is pretty cool. Like, especially if you incorporate a lot of her moves from Lightning Returns, or a lot of her, like, other abilities that we didn't see her pretty much use. Actually, the funny thing is my favorite version of Final Fantasy 13 is probably 13-2. Because I don't know if you guys have played that. It's like a totally different game. You play as this dude, and like you play as Sarah, her sister. But it is so cool because like you capture like the monsters from Final Fantasy and you kind of use them like Pokemon in battle. It's really cool. If you haven't played it yet, I suggest checking it out. And then we have Isaiah Ross, who exclaims, I'll put his things on the board. There's a lot to go over here. He talks about his hype, and like he talks about upcoming projects and why they would possibly choose that character. He wants Don Carnage from the Tailspin series. I've talked with him at length about this. We'll go over more of this in the end, but he's really adamant about having that character, and I guess he's a really huge Tailspin fan. It was a good show. I don't remember too much of it because I haven't watched it in a long time, but I remember liking Don Carnage. Like, he was a cool character. I don't know very much how well he fit into Soul Calibur series, just based on the fact that he's like an anthropomorphic dog that talks, and there's no really, I think he's a wolf actually, but there's no other versions of that in Soul Calibur. Like the only instance we see is Aeon, who's like a lizard person, but even he doesn't speak, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's kind of hard to explain that away. We'd have to bring in maybe some kind of dimensional thing or something, but it's still a cool idea, and I'm really happy that he was this adamant about seeing a character in the game. So let's all hold well wishes and hope that he gets what he desires. And then we have from Ariel, they would like another Tekken character, like a fist fighting style. That would work great, especially if you can use their style for character creator. Like, I get it. Like, I've been advocating for this for a long time, because we did get Devil Jin's style in Soul Calibur 5, and as awesome as that was, it made some awkward character creation decisions when, you know, you're trying to create characters that like use mainly melee. So let's say, for instance, you created She-Hulk, okay, from Marvel, who would just be like bashing people or using martial arts, whatever. When you're doing like moves where she's flying up in the air and wings are coming out, she's using eye blasts, like it comes to be pretty awkward. Like the only character I found out that really like would fit well with that would be like Spawn, but I didn't even use that character for my Spawn. I used Aeon actually. But yeah, so Devil Jin was a little awkward for some of the characters, but something great for some of them also, like Cyclops from the X-Men and stuff like that, Superman, Supergirl, like I created Superboy as well, content. So I mean, that's like great. Like I went into it and I asked him like who he would want, and he actually mentioned specifically like Feng Wei or Jin. He said / Devil Jin again, but I already explained why I would much rather have Jin. Like regular Jin Kazama's like, what's it called, Kazuma Ryu or whatever, his like martial arts style that he got from his mom. Like I really like that fighting style, and I think it would fit well for like a created character who's just like using regular fisticuffs. Feng Wei also, like he uses wushu, so it's a little bit more stylistic than just like the karate or kickboxing style that Jin Kazama would actually bring to the table. But Feng Wei would also be cool. He uses like a lot of like striking palm strikes and stuff like that. If you've ever seen like an old kung fu movie, it's pretty much something like that. And then Adrian offers another Lubu, which is our third vote for a Lubu. So, like I said, Dynasty Warriors fits great, and Lubu is an awesome character, so I would not mind at all seeing him there. And then finally, we have from our buddy Anders Hansen. He says he would like Date Masamune from Sengoku Basara, Sanada Yukimura from Sengoku Basara, or Tokugawa Ayasu, the adult version from Sengoku Basara, or he said Haomoru from Samurai Showdown, or Genjuro from Samurai Showdown. The Sengoku Basara characters would be excellent. Yeah, I mean, like, I would love them. So they would fit really well into the universe and really well, like, in general. The Samurai Showdown would be a little bit less I would want, because especially like Harumaru, because like he's like a lot like Mitsurugi. So I'm just worried about having like clone characters and stuff like that. Like I know he's got a different personality and his fighting style is a bit different, but I would definitely want someone from Sengoku Basara. And that was everything that we've gotten from, well, those are the best ones that I picked out. There were others, but sorry if you didn't make it into the video. I may do another one or a follow-up, we'll see. I wanted to throw in some of my extra ones, perhaps. Now, I already like thought about this earlier, but I don't read from a script or anything, so I don't remember off the top of my head who the 4 characters were. I just know I definitely wanted Lianxi from Samurai Warriors. Like, Lianxi's like my bae from that game, so I would definitely want her. And she's got an awesome fighting style with like the arrows and the crossbow and the fighting with it, and we don't really have anything like that, so that would be excellent. I also could really go for Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden and from Dead or Alive. I think he'd be an awesome ninja character because we don't have very many ninja in the game. And I would also like Komodo Kenshin from, you know, Rurouni Kenshin, Manslayer, the Matosai. He'd be a cool fit, though again, like, I'd be worried about him, like, squaring up against Mitsurugi, like, would it take away from him, then I definitely wouldn't want that. There was one more character. Who else? Oh yeah. I also would really like Sashomaru from. That would be. Sashomaru would be awesome. Like, I don't know how well they could implement his moveset into the game, or how again they can explain it, but he's a lot more human than like an anthropomorphic animal. So, and getting back to Isaiah's point, and getting back to how they go about choosing these characters, I just wanted to give like a little quick disclaimer. In marketing, there's something that's called like cross-representation, where companies will join forces together to build hype simultaneously, and their whole purpose for doing that is to literally bring over a new audience from another project that normally wouldn't be interested in their project by including something that they would be interested in. And it works in cross ways. So, for instance, when the new God of War game was in production to be coming out, and they wanted to build hype for it, they put God of War, they put Kratos in, I believe it was Broken Destiny or something. It was one of the PSP games. And then, like, Sophitia has shown up in, what game was that? I think it was Warriors Orochi, actually. I think she was only in the Wii U version, I want to say, the Hyper version. But, so basically, there's a couple checklists that they look for when they're looking for guest characters. The first thing they're looking for is availability. So if they're having somebody in mind, price is a big issue, because you do want to bring over a new audience, but if it's too pricey and it's going against the actual set budget of your game, because budget for production and DLC budget are two separate budgets, then obviously it's going to be a no-go. So that usually implies somebody from a huge company like Disney. You know, it would probably be like too expensive to bring over any of those characters. Plus, Disney has like this whole like family-friendly vibe where they actually don't want a lot of like other demographics watching them, except for the ones that they are actually directly marketing towards. So they wouldn't want the likenesses of their characters being used in unauthorized ways that they can't actually directly control, and it would be super expensive, so that's really hard for something like that. There also has to be an upcoming project that that person would want their character to be promoted, because it would be like a giant commercial. That's what it would be. Like, a guest character is literally a giant commercial for an upcoming project. So something that's already come out, or coming out super soon, or come out in the past, we're not going to go with that, because there's no reason to promote it. That person wouldn't even give the likeness out, because there'd be no hype building for their project that they're trying to build up for. People may like the new character, and people may come over to the new series, but they won't do anything with that original series. So that's why they wouldn't do something like that. And then again, the last thing, it has also kind of has to fit into the world. Like, I don't know how you guys are familiar with NetherRealm Studios and how they do. Like, they want to keep like the horror genre pretty much jam-packed into their series. It's why Spawn wasn't in Injustice in the first place, because Todd McFarlane said that he doesn't fit that format anymore. Todd McFarlane actually wants him to be more of a horror icon as opposed to a comic book icon, and the new movie is going to be like really different. It might not even be based on Spawn, it might be him in the background. So I don't know, we'll see, but there's a lot of things that go into it. Anyway guys, if you have any comments, or there's anybody else you would like to see, or you want to discuss things that we've mentioned on this video, feel free to do so in the comment section below. Thanks for sticking with us for this long video. I just wanted to get through as much of it as I can. I appreciate when you guys comment. Like and share the video if you can, so that other people can see it. And, you know, that's basic stuff. And all that other good stuff, like commenting and subscribe if you haven't already, all that stuff. So, as always guys, like I say, stay powered up.